Fine Time is about to blow your mind.
Hello, party people. It's your boy Dre. On an unusual day, it's my boy Steve.
I hope you realize it's worth pulling me away from the Switch 2 for this, Andre.
It is, Kevin.
Yeah, I think we needed to get Steve here for this, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, it'd just be the two of us, me going off about Marvel Tokone, and then Kevin's just staring me like, what are you even? And I'm just yelling to the heavens, Steve, save me!
Fine.
God. Can't even talk about Summer Game Fest for the people. Yes, that's what we were here to do. So basically, in order to not interfere with our Switch 2 extravaganza coming in our usual Thursday slot this week, so don't worry, we're still doing that, we figured we'd do a little bonus episode about Summer Games Fest weekend, including the state of play that happened at this point last Wednesday. And this is a weekend our show usually always covers because if you listen to the show, you know we love talking about these kinds of events. But we didn't want to skip it this year just because Switch 2 came out. We didn't want that. And of course, if we just do that episode, then, Summer Games Fest will just kind of be in the rearview mirror. We wanted to cover these events. We love to do these. So that's why we're going to do this right now and then Switch 2 in a couple of days. So I guess I should say this as well. For people who haven't heard us cover these types of events before, what we do is that we basically just talk about the games we want to talk about in roughly the order that they happened in the show. We don't talk about every game. That's the thing. We're not going to touch on every single little thing that was shown. We're only going to talk about the things that we have something to say about or the things that were interesting to us. So if we pass by Black Ops 7, which we are absolutely doing, sorry, we don't play Call of Duty. We're not really going to say anything about that. But yeah, then also that ensures that the shows are not like 4 hours long, just exhaustively going over every single thing. Because who would do something like that, guys? Who would ever do something like that?
Look, I know what the people want about Black Ops. Call of Duty, more like Call of Duty.
It's Kevin, I think. Kevin, I think he's legitimately the first person who thinks he thinks he's the first person who ever thought of that joke. I think he just invented that.
Yeah, I don't know. He's beyond help at this point. Just let him do it. It's fine.
Okay, I'll let him have it. Good job, Steve. Good job. Excellent.
Woo! Excellent. They're inventive and hilarious.
All right. Shall we get started? Anything else before we get going here on State of Play?
No, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. All right. State of Play happened, what was it, June 4th. And it was like, I remember when it was announced that Tuesday night, and it was just like, oh no, why are they doing this to us before Switch 2? They got some shit to say before the conversation changes. And guys, they really had some shit to say. I'm going to straight up say it. This is the best State of Play of all time, right? We've been doing this a while now. Has there been a State of Play better than this?
Nope. Not even close.
I will say that this State of Play I felt was more, you guys were more the audience for this than I was, but I do think that this may have been the best one. And this one really felt like it had a reason to exist. Quite often I feel like State of Play, I'm like, did they really need a fucking dedicated show for what they're showing here? This merited a dedicated show, even if I wasn't as much the audience for a lot of this stuff.
Shit was incredible. I think the first four, it's like when you pick up a new CD, kids, it's compact disc, because fast forward. When you pick up a new CD back in the day, and like the first four tracks are bangers, and it's like, oh my God, this shit's going to be incredible. I hope they don't let up, and they don't let up. And it's just great all the way through.
I was waiting for the 20-minute piece about Marathon at the end, and they didn't do it.
They didn't do anything. They didn't have fair games with a $sign at the end. They didn't have, hasn't there been a Horizon live service game rumored for a while? They didn't show that. Rest in piss Jim Ryan, I think is what this show was, if you ask me.
It was something. Real good was what it was.
Yeah, and they started it off with Luminous Arise, or as Kevin might say, Lumines Arise.
When I was a kid, fucking cut me some slack.
I only say that because I saw a joke about it on Blue Sky. Someone joked about they spelled it Lumines, and I was like, oh yeah, Kevin did say that. So you're not the only one out there.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway,
Blue Sky.
I've really grown to like Luminous in recent years, especially like in this day and age of haptic feedback. You know, I bought the one on Switch, so the HD Rumble was like going nuts. I don't know if you guys played that one, but yeah, it really lets you feel the music and stuff. So I guess, Kevin, I would say this is basically giving the Tetris effect treatment to Luminous.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and I can't wait. This shit looks great.
Yeah, I mean, it like there's such a solid base for Luminous, and the existing aesthetic and music of that franchise really like lends itself towards that Tetris effect style, anyways. And I think that's just gonna like way amp the presentation up a notch. This might be the thing I'm most excited to play out of the state of play. To be honest, I think this is super fucking cool.
Really?
I was gonna. Do you guys think this should be a full price game? And I don't really know where I land on that. Like, I think this is like very worth getting. It's you're not going to like foundationally change the gameplay of Luminous. And like I said, you know, the style of Luminous is not like that far removed from Tetris Effect to begin with.
Yeah, you know, I don't remember how much Tetris Effect was when it came out. I would imagine it was like $50, maybe 40, but probably like $50. I would definitely pay that for Luminous Arise. I would pay up to $60 for Luminous Arise, personally.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I have no idea how much this cost in the first place. I am not the Luminous fan.
You never tried it, or you never...
I didn't have a PSP back in the day. I was on Team Polaris, and obviously Luminous won in the end. But
I always think of it as Luminous versus Meteos. Those are the two head-to-head.
Yes, Meteos was what Meteos even crawled out of that more than Polaris did. But Luminous beat out Meteos in the end too.
Yeah, unfortunately, because we went right off the rails with Disney Meteos and fuck. Never mind. I can't make myself sad right now. Luminous Arise, absolutely. I'll pay a lot of money for that. Steve, did you ever think we were going to see Pragmata again? Because I was not sure. I really wasn't sure. But here it is. Robot Girl just pops up all of a sudden.
I feel like we see this once a year.
We saw it a couple years ago where they apologized. Hey, sorry, this is going to take much longer than we thought. And then they reference that at the end of this trailer by erasing that note from a couple years ago. And it's like 2026. It's real. Pokemon XD face. So it's like it's here.
Yeah, in any case, I will believe the game exists when it's available on a storefront.
Are you Duke Nukeming forever this game? Or are you just like, I'll believe it when I can hold it?
I mean, we don't hold these games anymore, but pretty much.
I thought you still did sometimes.
I don't think they're going to make a disc for Pragmata.
Oh, yeah, they are, Kevin.
Does anybody have a good sense of what this even is? I feel like when we have seen this, it's just like a guy in spaceship, in spacesuit, talking to a little girl, and that's kind of like... Well, I don't really understand.
Well, they had that whole AI. They had that whole AI intro, if you remember now, where it's like artificial intelligence, blah 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 blah, kind of spoofing what we do nowadays, right? And then they show a little girl, so I guess she's not real; she's a robot. We know that, but
I don't gameplay wise, I don't think we really know like what the fuck this is at all.
I'm only interested because it's Capcom. Like, if I'm being real, so. Yeah. You know, that's what I'm here. God, that game looks so RE Engine, doesn't it? Now that we've seen a lot of RE Engine games, you could really see the hallmarks.
Yeah.
Steve, Romeo is a dead man, is what they showed after this. Oh my God. And I knew, okay, here's what I want to ask you, since you're also a freak like me. How far into this did you know it was Suda51? Was it like right away?
It could have been anything at that beginning when they were sitting around the table and answering the door, but...
Oh, that animation! That shit was so weird.
It was so weird, and that could have been anything, but I don't know. Something about the first kill was like, this feels familiar, and then it just kept going on, and I'm like, they don't have to say a word. This is Suda 51. And then they made it to the end and they showed Grasshopper Manufacturer like, yep. I fucking knew it.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Blew me away. Obviously, we're Suda freaks around here. I love that Liquid Television ass intro. Almost again, I always talk about MTV animation. I know, I'm sorry, but like little Beavis and Butthead kind of sketchiness plus like weird 90s music video, like Fish Islands almost. It's just, it just hit like that certain, if it wasn't animated, like it'd be a Busta Rhymes video or something. And like, are they in space or are they just wearing spacesuits for fun? that's what I want to know.
I don't know. Maybe it's Earth after nuclear fallout. Like they can't breathe the air or something. I don't know.
Maybe. I would love if they're just wearing spacesuits because they want to. That would be great.
It's totally chic,
dude. What was with all the like random arcade looking stuff at the end? It looked like a bunch of arcade machines and like sprites. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah, but I don't know what that's all about.
You don't have a guess? Like mini games or just?
I mean, that's almost a given the source material, but I don't know.
Man, you know what? Okay, like so because I've tried Killer 7, I've tried No More Heroes. For me, I found the gameplay to just be a little bit too fucking esoteric for my tastes. But this looks super fucking cool. I would really like to like this. I would like to know, like gameplay wise, like how esoteric is it? Because I would love to want to play this, but if it just seems like it's like too fucking out there, and I'm gonna just feel like I'm not wrapping my head around this, and it feels to me sloppy, then I'm not gonna like it. But it like aesthetic and style wise, I'm like super into it for sure.
Steve, you know what he needs to play? He needs to play Shadows of the Damned. I think that's the one for him if he's going to get into any of them.
I think I still need to play that one.
Oh yeah, because you only had a fucking Wii, or did you didn't even have like friends who had a 360 or anything or whatever? Like you didn't
friends had 360s, but I wasn't like sitting there long enough to play theirs like whole games worth.
Can I come over to your house for 12 hours and play the entirety of Shadows of the Damned? You're telling me
the best I did. I've told this story. The best I did was when I was cat sitting. And I played a small chunk of Final Fantasy 13, decided it sucked, and then switched to Mass Effect.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah, I actually do remember that. How were the cats? Were they cool? Did they like you?
Yeah, they were fine. There was one that only came out when I was cleaning the litter box, but that was forever ago.
Yeah, some cats are hiders when new people come over. Steve. Silent Hill F looked incredible. Like I wasn't really that excited for it when it was first shown at remember that Silent Hill Direct or whatever the fuck it was they had like some time ago. I was like, okay, it looks okay, I guess, whatever. We'll see when it comes out. But after seeing this new footage on the State of Play, I'm sold. Now I'm excited. This shit looks cool as hell. Also, was it just me, or did one of the monsters have tits on their knees? Was that me?
I think so, but also there were all kinds of monsters with parts where they didn't belong.
Yeah.
One had mouths on like the back on their back. It was crazy. I remember just the first Silent Hill Direct where we just had the teaser for F, where it was just a logo. And I'm like, yeah. and I'm glad I'm just being vindicated here that this looks great now.
I do wonder, like, I know that, Sony is very like, okay, these games are rated up to M and it's not, this isn't, the presentation isn't for kids to watch, but does Sony let knee tits on the presentation?
I mean, why not? I don't know. Sure. I think all these presentations, even the Nintendo ones, are under the guise of like, these games are rating pending to mature. They always do say that.
Yeah, Nintendo's
right?
Nintendo's not letting knee tits on Direct.
They're not letting the knee tits on, but they will they have to have the guy come on who talks in the serious voice about Fatal Frame or whatever, right? They always say it in like a very hushed tone, like
and the fractured butthole.
You've been practicing. Right after this, Steve, we don't even have time to think. they show Bloodstain 2, or rather Bloodstain, the Scarlet Engagement. And
don't you mean Castlevania, the Scarlet Engagement?
That's what I thought it was, and that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, I legit thought this was Castlevania until I saw the gameplay, and then I was like, wait a second, this is definitely Iga. I can tell that much, but it doesn't necessarily look like Bloodstained. Did he go back to Konami? Which is not a crazy thought, because Konami is trying to ramp up their games division again, as we all know. So, like, him going back there to do Castlevania would not be far-fetched to me. But then at the end, of course, it was revealed that it is indeed Bloodstained.
Well, they got my ass at the beginning because they had that priest guy going to doing this whole "the castle has returned" montage. And I'm like, they're doing Castlevania again. Holy shit! But I'm not going to complain about more Bloodstain.
Yeah, where's our main girl? What's her name? Miriam? She wasn't. I don't think.
Did she die at the end?
I don't remember. I legit don't remember.
Maybe I should play Bloodstained again.
I don't feel like she did. I think Zangetsu's still alive, right? Maybe one of them. I don't know. I didn't really see. Not that it has to relate to the characters from the first game. I'm just saying that, like, you know, it's interesting that they went so different with it. Then again, if they just showed Miriam, we would have known it's Bloodstain right away. So, bro, right after this, I think Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, take it away.
Fucking finally. They've been sitting on this poorly kept secret for years, but it's finally fucking time.
How long have we been hearing about this? At least 3 years, right?
I looked back. They've been, not friend of the show, just, you know, friend of people that look news everywhere. Schreier's been, like, looking at this since 2021. Like, that's how long we've known about this, and it's finally coming this fall. Although I'm going to make Andre mad. I'm probably going to get the Switch version because it's not a tremendous overhaul. There's 2 versions of the game you can play. One that's sort of like the original, and one where it's like, oh, it looks slightly nicer than it did before. It doesn't really need to be either. The game always looked very nice. It doesn't need, this didn't need the HD 2D version. This will be great.
Although it would have been nice if they did that. That would have been sparkling and great, but no, they don't necessarily have to do that. Kevin, day one purchase. This is socially acceptable
to play on Switch too, right, Andre?
I think so. This is not like like you said. This is not Octopath. This is not Live A Live. It doesn't need hardware. Yeah, I approve. I will allow you to play it on Switch too.
Okay, I think I'm going to play this too. I had recent success with Tactics Advance. I'm feeling inspired. I am always worried that Steve will feel the need to establish intellectual dominance and make me feel bad about myself. But we'll see later this year.
What do you mean you don't have all these mages positioned just so?
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys Aaron wants me to play Triangle Strategy with him? And I'm really dreading it. I want to play it. I have it on Steam. So I mean, I will play it. But
Tag me in.
No, see, this is the thing. I want to do it with him because you're just going to piss me off. You're just going to make me feel bad about myself. He won't do that.
Be that way.
He has that Midwestern niceness. You're just mean to me.
I see how it is.
East Coast.
You want to take some
shittiness.
baby steps instead?
I do want to take some baby steps. I've been wanting to take some baby steps for a very long time now, and this trailer didn't move me off my position up or down. I'm still going to get this game, but it feels like they spent this entire trailer trying to watch the main guy go to the bathroom, which is this is weird. And you just go behind this bush. They're talking, and he's trying to peep in like the outhouse or something. It's just like, what is this trailer? Why was that the whole thing?
I think it's just because we already saw what it was about however long ago, and this was an update. Yeah. I mean, I still want this. I mean, I'm going to still need to see what's going on and what this costs when it finally comes out, but I want this still.
I'm a little hesitant. I don't know, man. It's still it's giving me getting over it vibes, and that's just it seems fun in prospect, and then it winds up not being fun.
Yeah, it seems like a very, I don't know. I'm definitely, because the main character looks like such a doofus, I think is why I'm like interested. If it were like this big, fit, muscle bound, like he's like climbing the mountain and stuff, because there's a lot of climbing games nowadays, if you guys have noticed for some reason. Like if it was like that, I wouldn't be very interested. But the fact that this guy just looks like a schlub is really appealing to me. He's just like me. I
think
can relate.
Like Steve, you really liked Octodad, right?
I still have to play Octodad.
Oh, I thought you played Octodad and liked it. I don't know. I tried that because I got it for like super fucking cheap, and I played that for half an hour, and it was the same thing. Like it just, I'm sure I could get there with enough fucking drive and push, but it feels so sloppy. And have you guys played I Am Bread before?
I have not. I've seen people play it though. I know exactly the kind of game you're talking about though. I know what you mean.
Isn't I Am Bread done in half an hour?
I don't remember. I think there's like multiple levels. You have to like get to the toaster. This has been a long fucking time since I played I Am Bread.
I forgot that was the thing. You have to get to the toaster. I forgot that was the goal. Yeah, I played.
What else is fucking bread gonna do with its life?
I don't know. Like sandwich, get into the middle of a club sandwich or something. I don't know what the goal might be. Steve, I did not know everybody's golf hot shots was going to have Pac-Man. Is that new to you? Because
it's a little new to me, but not surprising because we skipped the last Nintendo Direct the Switch Direct because there was the Switch 2 Direct we decided was more important. And this and Potapon Collection were announced for that because Namco's publishing and those things are going to be on Switch. And Namco's publishing the game, and that's why Pac-Man's here.
So does Camelot just not make hot shots anymore? Like what happened? I don't know. It's weird. I'm always here for hot shots, but it's strange. If it runs 60 on Switch 2, I'll consider it. Otherwise, that's a PS5 game for me. They showed Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, the 2D pixel art Ninja Gaiden coming out soon, and I guess this looks better than the Shinobi one. The Shinobi one I am thoroughly not impressed with. This one actually looks okay. I'm semi-interested in this when it gets cheap or maybe on Royale with cheese or something, because you guys know how skeptical I am of these indie throwback things, so I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess.
I have a bit more faith. Back when they showed this off at the Game Awards, they revealed that Blasphemous developer, the Game Kitchen's making it. And I also like 2D Ninja Gaiden, so I want to believe, Andre.
I think we're both just permanently scarred by what's it called? What was that game? The Messenger, yeah. Ugh, I don't know. Maybe that just ruined me forever. I have trust issues since that game. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection with a K, collection, of course. Thank you, everybody. I don't know. I wasn't really interested in this until, Steve, that I saw they're putting all the weird shit on there, like the handheld games.
Yeah, I'm not even a big Mortal Kombat fan. Listen to last week's show where I was like, Mortal 1 Combat. Fuck that noise. But look, this is Digital Eclipse doing their museum thing again. I don't even know if that's part of that, but that's clearly what they're doing here. They're going to put a whole fucking ton of Mortal Kombat here. A whole lot of versions of Mortal Kombat. They got developer interviews, behind the scenes stuff. I mean, they're even putting Mortal Kombat Advance on this thing. Even Midway hates Mortal Kombat Advance.
Nobody wants to remember that game exists. Yeah, but here they are. I saw like Mortal Kombat 2 Game Boy on there.
The handheld
clips,
versions.
Just really weird shit. I think some of the like SNES and Genesis, I don't know if those are beyond here, but I do think those home versions are interesting within themselves. Obviously, the arcade games are what we're after here, but like if they had like, I don't know, N64 Mortal Kombat 4, I think that would be cool.
Unlike the when they did Tetris last year, they didn't have a full list just yet. I think we got to sit on that a bit.
Probably. Well, right after this, they showed off new piece of hardware, and I don't know if you guys were, I'm sure you're watching us like, what the fuck is Sony doing? It's an arcade stick. Project Defiant Wireless Fight Stick is the official name of it. Sony's publishing an arcade stick. Why? What is going on? People have left this to the third parties for like the last 20 years. I'm really surprised this is happening.
That's because Sony now owns a fighting game tournament and they need to capitalize.
That is true, but it was weird to just show it after Mortal Kombat. Be like, hey, by the way. I mean, they didn't literally like tie it to Mortal Kombat, but I mean, it was weird.
I always like the idea of a fighting stick, but in practice, I the few ones I ever buy, they just feel impractical to actually use around the house.
I obviously grew up playing games at the arcade and playing fighting games at the arcade. That's how I learned. So stick is a natural way for me to play those games. I have adapted to pad over the years just because sticks are expensive and I don't always feel like buying one. But I don't know if I'm interested in this one in particular, but I like the way it looks. I can say that much.
Guys, I am feeling more and more okay about Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater every time I see it.
I'm very happy for you.
I mean, I just want to believe. We'll see.
It looks very last gen to me. I don't know. I
And
don't
know,
like the
but
graphics.
Snake Eater's my favorite one, so I really want to believe this will be pretty okay.
I just wasn't. Anyway,
I
can't wait till we make it big and they put Steve quotes on the front of the box of this game. I'm feeling more and more okay about this.
Something I did want to note though is that with this and Silent Hill, they had a big out next to their dates at the end of their trailers. Like what's going on at Konami Town? Like with writing the trailers.
that is weird, isn't it? I don't know if that's their new nomenclature that they're trying to establish. They're just trying to make out happen. So what's happening?
Speaking of out, I don't think anyone knew what was in with Tides of Tomorrow because I don't know. It seemed interesting enough for a Waterworld type apocalypse, and in terms of scenarios we play out are dictated by players that played through already.
I didn't understand what was going on with that. And I kind of mixed up that and Sea of Remnants. Like, Sea of Remnants is something else, right? That was like the story-driven...
I'm not sure what's going on with Sea of Remnants either, because all I got from that was an actual seafaring adventure where I had no idea what was going on, and that just had a toe tap and sea shanty thing going on. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll play this someday.
It looked okay. I liked the art style of it, but I wasn't like... yeah, because like I love that it looked like there was like literal like marker scribbles in his hair and shit. Felt tip marker. You know, and like his skin, like I don't know if you can call it skin. It looked like he was carved out of wood. That was strange. Or was that Tides of Tomorrow? Say, I don't remember. They blended together for me.
Maybe they shouldn't have showed them off one after the other.
I don't remember. I swear to God, I don't remember. I don't know. It was one of those two games, I guess.
They should have stuck the fighting pad in between the game that has Tides and the game that has C in the title.
Yeah, I'm lost. Cleanser. I know that one of them I looked at and it's like, well, this is eating, what's it called for lunch? What's the quadruple A game from Ubisoft?
Sea of Thieves.
Not Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones, yeah. I was like, well, this looks better than that. What also had a really cool art style to me was 007 First Light. I really loved the character rendering and stuff. Like, it looked stylized. It wasn't trying to look like the movies. It had its own video gamey look to it, but it wasn't like cartoony or like kind of over stylized. It was just right. I thought like, so that looked good, but the gameplay looked very Uncharted-y, Kevin. That kind of turned me off. So I don't know, cautious.
I wasn't gonna. I probably wasn't the audience for this in the first place, but I think it's weird to have like a 007 origin story, isn't it? I feel like Bond is supposed to be very like confident and sure in his ways, and he's a professional. I don't think you're supposed to see James Bond before he was in his prime. Does that seem weird to anybody else?
Yes.
No, that doesn't seem weird to me. Or rather, I should say, yes, I agree with you. I do think it is weird because like that was like I was like, he looks young. James Bond shouldn't be younger than me. Like this is weird. I mean, look, I know I'm getting older, right? But like he's supposed to be like you said, a confident man.
His mannerisms and stuff, right? Like I think that's the whole point is that this is like an origin story. This is like Bond's fucking, first outing or whatever.
I don't want to watch James Bond bumble around, I think.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't want to see James Bond find himself. He just needs to fucking be 007.
Yeah, it's this isn't like a superhero origin story or something, especially since so many different people have been James Bond, right? So,
What, you guys don't want to watch James Bond Jr.?
no.
Remember that shit?
Yes, I do. Now that you mention it, I do. I would have never thought about that shit again, but yes, I do.
Yeah, Andre, here's the other thing. If you're not I guess they wanted to make it not a shooter for some reason, and I don't know what else you would do with James Bond if you don't shoot things other than be Uncharted.
You could just I mean, look, I understand the history of James Bond games since the N64 era have been like first person shooters and like kind of puzzle solving a little bit, and it's a little bit of tactical, sneaking around sometimes. And I guess they didn't want to do the exact same kind of thing, but I don't think like the Uncharted treatment really fits Bond either. I guess we'll see. But
they could have went back to the N64, the Virtual Boy prototype, and made a racer.
What?
Vroom vroom. You didn't know about that?
They made a James Bond racing game for Virtual Boy that was canceled?
Yeah, I still have it on a poster somewhere. Like it was like done or almost done.
That's something I need to dive into. We should have a show. I'm going to do some show prep right here on the air in front of everybody. We should do a show where we look through canceled Virtual Boy games that are known to exist, whether they're advertised or known to be developed, and then we can headcanon them into existence. We can like say, okay, this was going to be like this.
Just give them ratings and everything.
Yeah, like they're actual games. What do you say, Steve? That's a winner, right?
I think that show gets a 007 out of 10.
I don't get it, Kevin. I don't understand.
Don't look at me.
You're the only other one here who can help me.
Well, you should. Yeah, okay, it's
me.
fine. It makes sense to pitch it to me because we got to move the show along, and I think it only makes sense for me to be the like main point of contact on the next game, right?
Yes, of course. You are definitely the person most excited about Marvel Tocone fighting spirits. Wait, I think it's fighting souls. I think I wrote this down wrong. I think it's fighting souls, isn't it, Steve?
Man, I don't even know anymore.
Hold, please. We're back. It's fighting souls. I fucked up. I wrote it wrong, but I said it correctly. Guys, what in the absolute fuck? I cannot believe this shit. I have so much to say about this game, and I know we got to keep it moving, so I'll just try to keep this short. I love that Arc System Works is intentionally leaning in to the Japaneseness of it, because like Capcom's Marvel games, they were very recognizable as like from the comic books. They didn't look like something that we didn't know. Hey, that's Captain America. Yeah, they had that like Japanese flair to it because it's Capcom. Kind of like how if you think about Konami's Turtles games, or they're American creations and they're trying to do that, but they also have that bit of like just a touch of anime to it, right? Marvel Tocone is going so far on the other side of the spectrum, like it is going completely anime. It is going completely Japanese, and that's incredible. There was a little featurette after they showed this trailer, and they were talking about exactly that, because the producer was like, I was getting the feeling that Sony wasn't, feeling the designs, and they came back with the feedback of, show me the Marvel that Arc System Works wants to create. You guys. And then they came out as this, and it was just like Iron Man looks like a Gundam now, right? That's crazy to me. This is insane. I mean, they're going so far as to have like nobody in that trailer spoke any English. That was all Japanese voice acting, too. Like they're just going so far with it. That's the correct thing to do. They need to distance themselves from Marvel versus Capcom, right? And that's the way to do it, by going completely in that direction. Also, Capcom, what happened? Where did your relationship go wrong? How did ArcSys take Marvel away from you? Like, friendship ended with Capcom. Now Arc System Works is my best friend, Steve. Like, what went down?
We didn't even get the collection a year ago.
Yeah, like what the 9 months ago, 8 9 months ago, Capcom put out that Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Steve, we speculated here on the air. Oh man, this is the road to Marvel 4. No, it's not. It's the road to Marvel Tokone Fighting Souls by Arc System Works. Kevin, I know you're so excited about this.
You know what? I'm very happy for you guys. Watching the segment for this was fun because it looks super fucking quality, and it makes me wish that I cared about fighting games or Marvel as a franchise, which I care about neither. But just being a fan of video games and seeing what they did here, it looks super cool. So I am happy for you guys.
This is a day one purchase coming next year. It said 2026. Notice a lot. I mean, we don't really have to talk about release dates of everything as we go along here, but between all these shows, a lot of 2026, huh?
Mm-hmm. Really feels like that this year.
Yeah, not even like a whole lot of. I think one thing said February 26. Maybe it was Onimusha, but I don't remember. But it was just like, okay, not a whole lot coming this year, but that's fine. Yeah, great state of play, just unbelievable. This was one for the history books. All right, guys. The Summer Game Fest presentation show itself, oof, this was not great. I don't think we're going to talk about this too long. Kevin, is this easily the worst one since they've been doing this? When did they start this? 2020 or 2021?
No, it was fucking awesome. This was the best year yet. No, it was pretty shitty. Yes. I don't know. This was like, to be honest, this was really like, I kind of had this playing on in the background and I was keeping an eye out because if something like real juicy came, I was gonna go pay attention, but I didn't spend much time paying attention, to be honest.
He didn't miss much, Steve.
This was pretty bad, Andre.
How did it start, Steve?
The way any normal Summer Game Fest show would. Jeff just casually putting the mic at his crotch before showing off the top 10 selling Steam games so far for the year. Just a mix of franchise favorites and indies. Oh, wow. And indie's the best-selling game on Steam so far this year. That means it could happen to anybody, even you. Now here's a show where it's mostly the same crap you've been playing all along.
Yeah, we're going to be skipping 80% of the game shown here, but what's the first? You got anything for me, Steve?
I mean, there's a very fake-looking game, Chronicles Medieval. I think it's supposed to be a strategy game. It looks like a show they play on Big Bang Theory. But on the other hand, they got Tom Hardy to narrate the trailer for it, so that's something.
Okay, they showed Sonic Cross Worlds, and they showed a bunch of crossovers for Sonic Cross Worlds, including like a Yakuza character and fucking Minecraft and shit. And it's like, guys, this is not what I wanted at all. That is not. Remember when I praised the beta for going all in on the Sonic universe? Remember that? It was like, it's all Sonic all the time. Now that's completely out the window. I don't think I'm getting this game anymore as a result. This was a huge buzzkill. Like, if you don't have confidence in Sonic, I don't have confidence in you. You can't even stick to your guns and make a Sonic racer the most easiest slam dunk in the fucking world. You have to add Minecraft to it. You have to have the guy from Yakuza. Fuck you guys. I'm not participating.
It's kind of a weird one too, because it really has seemed like in the last couple of years, Sega has seemed like they're like want this perception of we're really like pushing for quality, right? They did the like Game Awards things with the like 5 franchises were coming back, and it just seemed like they wanted it to look polished. But I feel like what they're doing with this just kind of like cheapens that
big time.
More than that, I just felt like having a fighting game ass roadmap in advance for character updates and a mascot racer felt really shitty. And I would feel that way even if they announced all deep cut Sonic characters. Because, when Mario Kart does this, Mario Kart World will do this in like another year. 1, they're going to let it marinate. And 2, we're going to get like a whole other Mario Kart World, and there'll be other characters, and it's going to be a whole bunch of other tracks and not whatever this is.
That is exactly what I was thinking about yesterday. I can't believe I love this game so much that I've been thinking about its DLC, and now we're talking about Mario Kart World instead of talking about Sonic Cross Worlds, which tells you everything you need to know. Yeah, I was not impressed with that, so I don't think I'm getting that game anymore. End of Abyss looked cool. I was kind of into that. I love the way the graphics like really depicted those like, I guess for lack of a better term, amoeba creatures that kind of just splitting and reforming and stuff. Like it looked really creepy and cool. Like I don't know. I feel like those kind of top down shooting games are dime a dozen. It didn't look like a twin stick arena shooter, mind you. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in this, Steve.
Yeah, between the kid in the raincoat and the freaky monsters, I'm really just reminded of Little Nightmares. I'm sure that wasn't intentional, or maybe it was, but especially with the gun. But I don't know. That's where my mind went right away.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine. Now, Mouse PI for hire. I've been looking at trailers and screens for this now and again for a while now. And I still want this to be good. And I still don't know when this is coming out. Maybe this will be in for a future Steve Shoots Stuff in the Face special, of which we've had exactly one of so far.
Well, you're going to have to let me join the second annual Steve Shoots Stuff in the Face special if you're going to play that, because I am playing Mouse PI for hire. That is a game for me. Can I come along? You know, you're not. No?
Okay.
I mean, since I had to twist your fucking dick about it, geez, maybe I don't want to come along. God.
Well, I'm just more uncomfortable with you twisting my dick while you're asking.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to twist that hard.
Yeah,
I was
you can't like twist the dick before you even ask the question, because it just sets the wrong tone. You gotta wait until he like is cagey about it and then twist the dick.
You're right. I'm sorry, Kevin, the expert dick twister over here. Sorry, I didn't mean to didn't mean to do it in the wrong order. They finally showed some combat for Onimusha Way of the Sword, and I still don't know, man. Like, I can't tell if this is Souls or not. What do you guys think, Kevin? Is this a Souls game or not? I cannot tell.
I can see why you would think that for sure. I think there's like a good chance of it like leaning 75% of the way in that direction.
Steve.
Knee-jerk reaction says it's a Souls.
Okay, here's my copium right now. I'm holding out that like it's not, because of the way the multiple enemies attacked and the way he targeted them. It felt a little like Arkham-ish or like Sony Spider-Man-ish to me. So hopefully, I'm not going to say it's as high-flying and acrobatic as that. However, if it does play that way, I am very okay with that. But please, God, don't let it be Souls. I want Onimusha. Don't let everything I like be fucking ruined by this, man. Jesus. Anyway, they showed something called Felt That Boxing, which Jeff, if you guys remember, Jeff was very clear before this was shown, this is all real time in Unreal Engine 5. And he did that for a reason, because Steve, I would have straight up thought this was like CGI or maybe even real puppets. This shit looked crazy.
Even the little tag up front said it was all in an engine, and I had a hard time believing it because this looked fucking crazy. This had to be the best looking game shown here.
Yeah.
I'm about it.
I thought when I watched this, I thought we were going to be on the show picking on it. Like, it is graphically impressive. Yes, I thought it looked stupid as fuck. I'm sorry.
What's stupid about it? Just like,
I don't know. It's just like
Muppets or
that's what we're
or?
doing. Yeah, I don't know. That just doesn't seem like a valid hook to me. I don't know.
Fine, Kevin. I'll make fun of it for a second. Get it? Because they're puppets and they're made of felt, and you feel things by boxing. There, that's the most making fun of this game I feel like doing, because there's potential here. I feel like.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I fucking rolled my eyes. Maybe it's a me problem. I'm sorry. I'm such a salty bitch.
I don't know. I mean, look, I don't blame you for feeling that way. I think like the Muppet stuff is I think people care about that stuff a little too much. Like, I always think it's a bit corny when people think like, oh, but I don't know. The fact that this was all real time and it looked like this, and I love that they said fuck and shit Muppets are cussing. I like that. Like I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be a tech demo game. It's a tech demo game. I don't think the punch out portion of this game, Kevin, is going to be that substantial. If that's your worry.
Yeah, I think when we talked about High on Life a while ago, and as we will talk about again coming up here, I think I kind of like humor wise, I got the same like thing from this.
Okay, I definitely didn't feel that irritated. I didn't feel irritated at all. I'm not saying I thought this was like hilarious, but I definitely wasn't annoyed by it, which is all I can expect from humor in video games nowadays. As long as it doesn't piss me off, I'm good.
I'd say something inappropriate, but I'm about to talk about Killer N and get mad at Square Enix because we can't have more HD 2D Masterworks, but we can have shooters with too many rules that no one wants to play, let alone buy. Did they forget how Foam Stars went, guys?
I don't think they forgot how Foam Stars went. I just think it's too late to stop all these initiatives that they put into plan years ago. So I think they just feel like they have to release Killer N. We worked on it this long. Let's just do it.
Because I'm watching this thing and I'm just finding less and less reasons for anyone that would want to play it. Because I'm sure they got a guy saying, "Oh, we can't say kill the wolf. We gotta say procure the wolf or whatever all on stream."
No, I don't know, man. I had no feeling about this game. However, I will say I don't think the people who work on HD 2D Masterworks are the people working on Killer N, but hey, no, I don't
think they are either, but it's just, I have to admit that for the next game, I was not watching this live. So the first time I saw this next game, it was on Wario 64's feed, and I'm sure not everyone watches the Game Fest live. So if you're flipping through news and you see a game called Chrono Odyssey, you're not necessarily thinking it's going to be a generic action game. You're thinking, "Oh my God, what are they doing here?"
Did you need a hit of copium after that one? Like,
no, I mean just a little bit, because a few months ago, Yuji Hoри's at an Italian Comic-Con getting in trouble for saying they were working on a Chrono Trigger game.
I don't think. I mean, look, at this point in the game, I don't really think seeing Chrono anything on the timeline should instill anybody with any sort of I mean, it's been so long since they've done anything like that.
I understand that, but you're flipping through on a feed, even for a sec. They know what they did.
I think that's your own cope there, buddy. I don't think I would.
And I was not the only one.
I'm sure you weren't, but come on, man.
I wish this wouldn't have been on here and Steve just seen the Wario 64 tweet and he's like, "I'm going on fucking total media blackout for the new Chrono Trigger game," and then he just bought it day one and went to play it.
Yeah, I would do that. You guys are going to be real sorry when the new Direct has Chrono Trigger HD 2D. You'll see.
Hopefully, okay.
You'll see, you guys.
That's the sound of him huffing that copium. Right there. I obviously none of us care about Lies of P, but I love that they dropped that DLC, just a shadow drop in the show. That's a cool drop.
This is probably the highlight of the show for a lot of people.
Oh, of course, absolutely,
including Jeff.
People love that game. Oh, Jeff loves a shadow drop. You know that. I didn't think much about that game. What is it? Fractured Blooms with the people, like the flower, like that shit looked really kind of freaky, but not necessarily. I don't know. Didn't really catch my attention, Kevin.
I don't know. I didn't like it, man. That made me feel uncomfortable, and I'm not I'm pretty okay with horror shit, but it just had I don't know. That was a pretty fucked trailer.
Sure was.
I think that game is very unique. It looks very unique and not really something that we've seen over and over.
I liked what I saw, but it also felt like maybe they just put together a really good trailer and maybe the game is garbage. I don't know.
Maybe I didn't get much from it, but it wasn't like a turn off. The flower faces. I don't know, Kevin. We just played Avowed that has people with flower faces and stuff. That didn't freak you out, or
that was no. It wasn't. I don't know, the whole the whole like package of this put together. The Avowed was okay. I didn't get scared playing Avowed.
Okay. They showed something called Scott Pilgrim EX, which is this a remake of the beat 'em up from 360? Like, I didn't understand what was going on here because it looked like kind of the same thing as that. And also, I did not see Tribute Games taking the path of being like the go-to indie beat 'em up guys, but good for them. They deserve it. But
once you work on Turtles, you can do anything.
As often said in history, once you work on Turtles, you can do anything. That is oft quoted.
They call that the golden rule.
This may have been the best thing they showed to me, a game that I didn't know about beforehand anyway. They showed this horror game called Ill. And this shit looked fucking sick. Like, every humanoid monster looked like it was like straight out of an Aphex Twin video or something. Like, holy shit. These things look crazy. And it was like truly terrifying. They're like chasing you around. I loved when he kicked the mutant baby at the end. Just kicked it into the trash can or whatever. Or just what that was amazing. Yeah, I'm sold. Steve, you don't have to tell me anymore.
This was gross. When is it coming out?
You're in, Kevin. You're in, right?
No, you guys go ahead. It looks too fucking stressful and gnarly for my tastes.
Really?
Have fun. I don't know, man. It was just like not even just aesthetic. It just looks very fucking intense to play.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want from these things. I'm definitely here.
Speaking of a game I'm much more on the fence about, there's Infinitesimal. It's like a Bug's Life. Bugs are fighting the army from ants. This is the maybe pile game that ever maybe'd for me.
I didn't really have any strong feeling about it.
Like, maybe if you get some Army Men DLC, you might have a sale, but I don't know.
So then they had a live action segment where Lady Dimitrescu, aka Maggie Robertson, the person who plays her, and Jun Takeuchi came out to tease Resident Evil news happening. And we know Japan loves anniversaries, right? So that's happening. But here's my copium for the day, okay? I'll tell you mine since I made fun of you. When they showed the umbrella file and then like the zombie turned around with that classic pose, I thought it was going to be a remake of the original. I've been talking about that forever. They need to remake the original Resident Evil. I thought that's what that was, and that's not what that was. So I needed a big old huff after that.
No, that's okay. Maybe there's news about Resident Evil coming sooner than you think.
Maybe there is, Steve. But first, we had Kenny Omega dressing up like the 4 characters announced for Season 3 of Street Fighter 6. Even Ingrid. Can you imagine Kenny Omega dressed up like Ingrid from the hit game Capcom Fighting Evolution? Because I can't, but I saw it.
I don't have to imagine it because I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. Steve, what do you think? So the 4 characters are Sagat, C. Viper, Ingrid, and Alex. Those are our characters for this coming year.
Well, Sagat's one of my favorites, and that means I should get with this game finally one of these days. Oh, wait, I finally did on Switch 2.
Yes, you did.
So,
how are you enjoying that, by the way?
We'll keep it short. I'm loving it so far. We'll talk a bit more about it Thursday.
Yep.
This Thursday. Just a bit longer.
Thursday, everybody. He must be an actual video game fan, right? Kenny Omega. There's no way you're going to get anyone to just dress up like
Ingrid like that.
Yeah, Ingrid and Alex, and I mean, come on. As for what I think of the characters, I just hope Alex gets his real due this time as like a cool character. He was the poster boy for Street Fighter 3, a game no one cared about until it was way too late. And he was like the main character of that series. He was in Street Fighter 4, but was he really? Because I don't really think he was much of a factor there.
He was in Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
Oh, he's actually good in that game.
Yes.
He is actually good in that game. Yeah, I like Alex, so hopefully I think he'll be a good fit. I've been wanting C. Viper back since like before the game came out. So C. Viper, I'm glad she's here. Ingrid, weird pick, love it. Sagat, obviously great. No new characters, though. You know me, I want like new people. So this is kind of in that regard, whatever. But I guess what can you do?
They'll get there, I think.
You guys want to tell me about something I saw that was like not Fortnite, but also Fortnite, please? Because what was this?
If you want to play a team shooter that looks like you bought Fortnite at the dollar store, even though Fortnite is free, have we got a game for you?
That's a very good explanation, I think. That's fair.
Hey, kids, have you ever wished you had to pay for Fortnite? Well, here's your chance.
I'm watching this thing and I'm like, they're not saying it's free to play.
They're not saying it, but like, yeah, they should say that right up front because like they know what their game is, right? It's like, hey, everybody, it's free. It's free. Okay, so just give us a look. I thought Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver looked really neat. They're doing like a stop motion animation thing, which is, I guess, is coming into vogue now, huh? Like, I feel like a lot of games are doing that. I've never been into Wu-Tang. I'm always down for a hip hop themed beat 'em up. That's for sure. So I'll play this.
You know me, I'm not the music person around here, but it's a good looking game. A good looking game's a good looking game. I'll probably play this one too.
You're from New York. Isn't it illegal for you not to be into Wu-Tang?
No one's arrested me yet.
Damn. Wow.
Been hiding out for years.
Mm-hmm.
One of the last games they showed was Into the Unwell, and this is another rubber hose animation inspired game. And I just gotta say, I'm glad that when Cuphead took off and people were inspired by it, I'm glad other people went in other directions between this and Mouse PI and just didn't make more Cuphead. This in particular looks like it's going to be more 3D platformy and like closer to Conker's Bad Fur Day if I had to like give it a close analog thing right this second. I'm keeping an eye on this one.
You make a really good point. I'm glad we didn't have like Cuphead likes. That would have drove me insane. I'm so glad people didn't do that. They just decided, hey, this is cool. Let's just do whatever with it.
That it has been a thing though, because I specifically on Android, I remember seeing a game and it 100% like 2D Cuphead like, so it's been done for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure some people have done it, but it largely has not been a subgenre, I guess, which is good. They ended with Resident Evil Requiem or Resident Evil 9. They flashed 9 real fast, but it's called Resident Evil Requiem. So I guess that guy just like lied earlier because he's like, we're gonna have more news in the future. Oh, surprise, bitch! Like here it is now.
Maybe they got even more news later on, but this is. There's a dumb Simpsons joke. It was like, we're returning to Wiggum PI right now. Like they're just putting it on like later in the show. Like, what kind of fine time production bullshit is this? Where you're just gonna tease something only to put it on later in the show? How amateur hour of Jeff and Fred's to do that bullshit?
We would never do such a thing. That is beyond us. We are better than that, Kevin.
Yeah, I don't think you can speak disparagingly about Fine Time Production. They wish they had Fine Time Production.
Everyone does. We are very produced. Going back to Raccoon City is a very interesting prospect, isn't it? Because seeing the bomb crater in the middle of the city of what is now a ghost town was kind of cool. For anyone who doesn't know, like Resident Evil 2 and 3 kind of take place concurrently. And at the end of those games, a bomb is dropped on Raccoon City. That's what the U.S. government decides how they're going to get rid of the zombies. So that's why you have to escape the place. It's going to be bombed. And it does get bombed. And Raccoon City was never heard from since. Or was it? So this is the first time the series has returned there. So that's interesting.
I mean, I'd say so. More knowledgeable people than me online have pointed out that this lady we're following, Grace Ashcroft, has a mother that got killed brutally in Outbreak. You know, the online game on PS2 that no one played because it was on PS2 and no one was hooking up their modem to that at the time.
I knew one person who played it. One person.
How'd that go for them?
I think they liked it okay. I don't think they spoke about it in glowing terms, but they liked it just fine.
I'm just saying, this is a deep cut. They could have said anything they wanted, but they're making this shit canon.
So real quick, I wanted to go through some demos I played. They also had the Day of the Devs show, which I don't really have a whole lot to say about, but there was some demos released. So I played 3 different demos, and I just want to talk about them real quick before we move on to the final thing we have, which is Microsoft Showcase. So the first game I have here is Ball X Pit. Or is it just Ball Pit? Ball Cross Pit, Steve. What do you think?
I think we're all just going to call it Ball Pit, aren't we?
I mean, I don't know. I want to get the nomenclature right now.
I think you could drag X Drive into the Ball X Pit.
Yeah. Wait, isn't that drag and drive? Don't they say drag and drive?
Yes.
Well, that's what they say, but it's drag X Drive, right?
Yes, of course. I'm just saying, like, all the nomenclature.
Don't fucking pick apart my joke. Come on.
No,
All right,
God damn it. I'm trying here. Okay, you know what? I was about to support your joke by talking about how Hunter x Hunter is just spoken as Hunter Hunter, but now you're just being an asshole to me.
I didn't feel that way. I was trying to support your bit by giving you a fucking hilarious joke, and then you just made me feel bad about myself.
Andre, how's the game?
Well, it's an auto-scrolling roguelike, Kevin. I don't know why I'm directing this towards you, where you play some sort of like, it's like Breakout or Arkanoid, I guess. That sort of scroll forward, break bricks, and against this like endlessly spawning number of enemy blocks. And you level up and you get different kinds of balls, LOL, and such. You can get like, this one splits into 3. This one hits everyone in a row. This, etc. Yes, you can imagine as you might level up in a roguelike brick breaker, if you will, with like a medieval bent. There's definitely some vampire survivors in here, which I think at this point it's unavoidable. I feel like that's a new zeitgeist for these kind of games. So it does have some of that DNA. However, it's not nearly as boring as Vampire Survivors. It's definitely better than that.
So this is scrolling vertically, right? This is not scrolling horizontally.
Oh no, this is scrolling upwards vertically.
Yeah, okay, that makes much more sense.
Yeah, it's really fun. It definitely went on the wish list. This is a future Steam Deck game for sure. Okay, Mina the Hollower. So, as we said before, this is a new game from Yacht Club where you play as a mouse in what looks like a Link's Awakening on Game Boy Color, essentially. Link's Awakening DX, if you will. Well, guess what? That's exactly what it is. But it's not like a Zelda game. It appears to be level-based. It's not like an adventure game like Zelda. So it feels like you just do these long sections. Again, I only played the one level, but just like Shovel Knight, it's these very long levels with many components to them with a checkpoint system where if you die, you go back to that thing and you have to collect. It's exactly like Shovel Knight in that regard. There's also the same kind of like diversions and like here's a room off to the side where you can collect a thing and then leave. Again, very same kind of level design. So I think people who really like Shovel Knight except Zelda will be perfectly at home here. So Kevin, if that's what you were expecting, that is what you will get. There's even like a Zelda 2 kind of level up system, because once you get enough doodads or whatever, it's like attack, defense, or something else that you can pick that you can level up with your 350 points or whatever. So that's very Zelda 2 like to me. It's neat, of course, but it's not something I'm going to get right away. Kevin, does this answer your question?
Yeah, I think this sounds super cool. Yeah, I'm into it.
Steve, you will absolutely, I'm just taking a wild guess here, you will definitely be into this as well. The third thing I played was Mio, which stands for Memories in Orbit, Mio. And I wasn't really feeling this one myself. Like, it's a very artistic action-adventure game, or search action, as Steve might say. And it looks cool, but unfortunately, it's not very exciting. The platforming is kind of like super basic. They give you the double jump right away, which seems sacrilege in these kind of games. They kind of usually make you earn that, but it's just here. And the disparaging things I always say about like platformers that give you double jumps right away, unless they're Super Ghouls and Ghosts or something. The combat is also just very much there. You have a swipe, foof combo, and that's it. Most of the difficulty also seems to just come from asshole enemy placement. Oh, here's this guy on the ledge, and not really any sort of like actual combat difficulty. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be a vibes game where you just kind of like enjoy being in this world and shit, which I can see because it's a very cool looking world and a very interesting, the way they use light and like the texture work and stuff is like very like almost looks, I don't want to say sketchy. It has a little bit of like colored pencilness to it, I guess is the best way to describe it, but it's not the plucky squire. It doesn't look drawn, Anyway, I don't know, man. I know Steve was kind of eyeballing this one. I hope I didn't dissuade you too much.
I don't know, man. A vibes game with poor enemy placement sounds like you're talking about Hollow Knight to me.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Get real.
Jesus. Ooh, Kevin, I'm sorry
That's
he did
horseshit,
that. Kevin, I'm sorry he did that to you before you're going to talk about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, but I hope you can just power through.
That's fine. I'm always feeling pretty jovial when it's time to talk about Tony Hawk. So they shadow dropped a demo for this the other day. It was called the Foundry demo. So, I was like, okay, they're going to have the Foundry, the first level of Tony Hawk 3 in there. Couple weird things about this demo, though. First of all, you have to have Game Pass or have pre-ordered this to play the demo, which to me seems a little counterintuitive, as the point of a demo being like, do you want to buy this game? Whereas you have already had to make that decision if you want to play this, or again, like say have Game Pass.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that a thing? Has anybody really done that before, where it's like you can play the demo if you've pre-ordered?
I've never heard of this before, to be real. No.
It seems kind of
shitty. I've heard of like, sometimes fighting games will let you into the beta if you pre-order the game. So it's like, oh, you can play the beta period. Like I've seen that of stuff, right? But not like a demo, like it's something presented as like, I don't know. That is weird.
Yeah. The beta thing makes a lot more sense than the way this has been positioned, but whatever. So as soon as I booted it up, I was like, oh, fuck, great. Not only is the Foundry here, you can select the college, which is the first level of Tony Hawk 4. However, unfortunately, there are 0 goals from either of these levels. They just put you into the world. None of the like characters are there. You can skate around. You can do all the tricks. You can go into all the places in this world. But there's no like goals as you would expect, right? You can't go around and collect skate or like fucking knock the lava bucket over in the Foundry or whatever. None of that stuff is there. There's no checklist. It doesn't tell you what the goals are. So it's literally just go into these 2 levels. You can skate around. You can get a feel for it. It feels really, really fucking good. I don't know. I'm sure not any less excited to play this. It hasn't dampened my experience, but as a demo, it's just, I don't know. I would have rather they just did the Foundry and gave me the goals than did the Foundry and the college without the goals. I guess I'd put it that way.
I understand that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I know how Tony Hawk plays, and it plays just as good as ever. It plays very similar to 1+2. Tech wise, it's great, but there's only so much I can get out of. Like I already know the layout of these levels, so exploring is not going to get me a lot. And when I don't really have like a motivation to play it, it's a little, I don't know. It's a weird demo, but
maybe that's why they didn't want to release it as like a general release demo, just because it is kind of strange. But again, it's like you said, it kind of plays to people who already are going to buy the game for the most part. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I just like, we're a month out. I don't really get the point of doing this period in a way. I mean, like, I was very excited when I seen there's a demo. I'm very excited to play this game, but knowing what the demo is, I would have been just as fine as them saying, yeah, the game's coming in a month. Get fucking fired up to play it.
All right. let's get to the last thing on our list here, the Microsoft Showcase. And Kevin, it feels like every year you look forward to this one the most, I think, more than
You know
us.
what? I like specifically do look forward to this, despite, and I it wasn't that long ago. If you listen to the show, I specifically talked about, like, I thought Microsoft maybe this gen was going to have a comeback, and that very much didn't happen. I play the Xbox does not get very much playtime at all. It's like if there's an exclusive on Xbox I really want to play, I'll pick it up then. The odd thing hits Game Pass that I want to play, but I'm really, the buying the Series X was not like critical for me this generation, like, at all. Mm-hmm. However, I still always have this, like, there's this appeal to being like, are they going to make a push to like dig themselves out of like where they're at to some degree, or is it going to just be kind of like more of the same? And that's because I feel like they're always like building it up, like we got big things coming. That's got to be the kind of feels like they're trying to tell you, just hold on, it's coming, and it's you're always wondering if it's coming, and I guess this is when we find out. I don't really think it came that much this year. You guys?
I think this year so far they've been kind of killing it with Avowed and South of Midnight and Doom at the Dark Ages. Like, I feel like this year so far it's been like probably as good as it's been for them in a long time.
It hasn't felt, and God knows I fucking loved Avowed, but it just hasn't felt like explosive where it's like we have things that are like must plays on Xbox that isn't fucking Halo, Forza, Gears of War. Like that's what they need. They need like a big, super cool, shiny thing that people who don't play on Xbox are excited about.
Well, that's the problem. They've ensured that they're never going to have that again with the way their approach has been of like, indie's on PS5. Like, it just doesn't create excitement. Yeah, you're going to get the sales, but it does nothing for you as a brand. So, I guess.
And I've actually, maybe we should table that because I've got a few like parts that I want to talk about specifically in here and kind of how it relates to Xbox messaging.
Okay.
So,
well, let's just start with The Outer Worlds 2, which is coming out October 29th, which it feels like, I don't know. It feels like, weren't we talking about this? It's like, this is going to get delayed, right? They just shipped a Valve, but no, this is happening.
I still don't think it's, I would not be that surprised if it does still get pushed out. I don't know. I know October 29th is not that far away, but this seems to me like a game that's going to get delayed.
Steve, I think this is the new Xenoblade 2, right? Where everyone was like, there's no way in hell it's coming out in 2017. No way. Sure enough, it did.
Yeah, I was going to say, the thing is that Xenoblade did come out on that day.
Yeah, this is one of those games that Microsoft revealed an $80 price point for, which I alluded to earlier, and I'm not going to have this conversation for the 14th time in a row on the show, but I'll just say this. How about we just wait for it? Hey, when Outer Worlds came out, I didn't buy it. And then the Rona came around and I was bored. And then I saw it for $30 and I knew it ran at 60 frames a second on PS5. Okay, then I bought it. I think that's all we need to do to be more normal about video games around here, right? Do what we always do. See the price we like and then buy it. Or just get Game Pass for $1 or whatever stupid deal they have like 6 months from now and then play the game. That seems okay, Steve.
You heard me making prices about other games this show, and I still have to play the first Outer Worlds, so...
That's right, you haven't played it. It's me and Kevin are... Oh, wait, Kevin hasn't played Outer Worlds.
Well, I spent like 5 hours with the Outer Worlds, and it didn't like get its hooks in me like I was... And I was pretty like optimistic when I started that, and I think that's the thing with like Game Pass 2 is it's very easy to just be like, well, this is sitting on here, I'm going to try it. If I'm not that interested, like I'm not like spending money on this thing in specific, so I don't feel bad about, picking up something that if I wind up dropping it. I can't help but be hot on this after Avowed though, right? Like I've really fucking hammered on that, all killer, no filler game design. And I really hope that kind of gets maintained into this. And I think the footage looks great. So I definitely want to try this when it comes out. I think it's got a good chance to hook me.
Okay. I mean, I'm here for it. Not for $80, but I'll get that. Maybe, hey, maybe then when that comes out, I'll get Game Pass again. I'll play Doom the Dark Ages and I'll play that as well. They showed, I can't believe I'm saying this. They showed High on Life 2, which I cannot. That is clinically insane that they're making a sequel. I feel like everyone hated that game who wasn't Kevin. Like, I guess the first one found an audience if they're doing this, but like, I was taken aback. And like, also, it was weird. I don't know if you guys thought this was weird that it was just a CGI trailer. That was not gameplay. That was just like, that wasn't even in-engine footage. It was just CGI.
I didn't pick up on that.
It was. I don't know why that was pre-rendered, but. I guess. I don't know. You liked the first one. You tell me how much you
I
didn't.
This. Well, no, I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't. I sure wasn't like crazy about the humor. I thought that there was some kind of good ideas there, but I agree. The vibe of the first one and the humor and the whole fucking like guns being ridiculous thing it felt like it was universally mocked. I'm as surprised as you are that this was getting a sequel.
Yeah, that's just weird shit. Okay, they finally showed the Xbox ROG Ally or whatever it's called. I don't even know. The ROG Ally that says Xbox on it that's been rumored for a long time. We've been hearing about this, and here it is. It's exactly what we thought it was. No real surprises. I just thought it was funny that they showed it off with Silk Song. That was like the first thing on the menu. Well, okay, it's funny for two reasons, right? One, it's funny that it's Silk Song, this coveted thing that people have been wanting for years. Two, why are you going to show off your new powerful handheld with Silk Song? That doesn't show off anything. You got to play Forza or something like that. Why are you playing Silk Song? That's so weird.
It's a weird fucking choice.
Well, more than that, Cirebon doubled down by saying it's going to launch on the day that this does, or it's going to be available by the time Silk Song, something like that was the message. Like, this isn't just goofing around. This is going to be the thing. And then the next day, somebody tweeted, on Team Cherry tweeted, I don't know who, was like, we're not set to launch with any console in particular. So
they backed off of that real fast. Okay.
So it's like, what the hell is going on over there?
I didn't know they said that. That is wild. So what the hell
I think it was more
on?
Just like you can place like Silk Song will be available on this like day one when it launches or whatever.
I understand, but show something with graphics, man.
Yeah.
Like it's
weird.
I
get that.
Anyway, I thought that was weird. What did you think, Kevin?
Man, I thought this is super interesting in a way. Like, I know this was heavily rumored. I don't know did anybody know that this was going to be like a ROG Ally device? I think everybody knew they were going to. No, that was we did know. Okay. Because I knew it was going to it's going to be like an Xbox PC handheld. I do not feel like there's that really any appeal to buying an Xbox branded ROG Ally, especially when Xbox has been very over the last year. Like, it does not matter where you play. Everything is an Xbox. Everything is an Xbox. We don't need you to be invested in our hardware to play our games. I'm not in the market for a handheld PC anytime soon. But if I was, I genuinely feel like right now I would feel emotionally more appeal to getting a regular ROG Ally than I would the Xbox ROG Ally. Because I feel like specifically kind of like turned off, or like it's like it would be weird to be like, well, I want the Xbox one. Like, what is the value in having an Xbox branded product in your house? It's almost like a feel bad proposition in a way.
I agree, just because it's like we just said, they devalued their own brand so much over the last few years, where it's like, okay, because like I feel like if this were, 10 years ago, people would be like, okay, it's just a ROG Ally, but it's an Xbox One, so we're ensured that it has the power to run Rise Son of Rome or whatever the fuck, right? Like, I don't know, Scalebound, LOL. But that's not, that's not the case anymore, Steve.
I was going to bring this up later, but this was the first of these conferences where the Xbox show was them as a games developer, not them as a big three publisher, as a big three console thing. Because if you noticed, all of the trailers for this thing had whatever system it's coming out for at the end of the thing. Like, if it's on PlayStation 5, if it's on Switch and Switch 2. We didn't have to wait for any individual company to release their own version of the trailer later to see if it was going to be on other consoles. Whatever it was coming out for, we saw in this thing. So more than that, I just thought it was weird that Microsoft's still out here saying, and we're gonna have an Xbox handheld, kinda.
The timing, look, they probably made this when they felt a lot better about their brand, and they probably put through this initiative when it was like, different times in 2021.
We already bought all those
like
Xbox stickers to stick on those ROG allies. We might as well fucking use them.
Yeah, might as well put them out there. Just I guess.
Actually, Steve made a good point when he talked about like this was kind of a different show than Xbox has had in the past, right? It definitely wasn't like, console exclusive, right? There's a little bit of like world premiere. I don't even think it wasn't like play it day one on Game Pass, like, and I'm sure that wasn't like rammed down our throat like it has been in the past, and so I wonder too, now that they're like, okay, we need to like diversify where we're putting our games, Game Pass is still going to be a thing, but we don't maybe want to be like, hey, like the Game Pass is the fucking way.
That is true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, they used to really shove that in our face, and that wasn't so much anymore, Steve.
There was some of that tucked away in the corner, but they were really putting emphasis on Xbox Anywhere, where, everything's in Xbox now. Your computer, your Xbox, your ROG Ally, your LG TV. But,
Well, I feel like in previous years, usually the show ender is where they like make sure you remember every single game you've seen here today can be played day one on Game Pass, right? That was not the fucking that was not the message this year.
That was not the message. You were absolutely right. Yeah, it just felt like more of you're right, more of an Xbox label game show instead of just like Xbox, Game Pass. I think they probably understand that was a little much. It was so over the top. I'm glad they kept their world premiere though. You can't get rid of that thing.
Even this, when I talked earlier about like being excited for like the Xbox show, like it's always interesting, like just as like an industry like insight almost to see the Xbox, especially because they don't really do throughout the year like they have done where it's like, oh, we're going to show off like 5 games, at this fucking thing or whatever, but it's not, they don't do like the direct style like every 3 or 4 months where it's got like a cadence to it, so they kind of like save their load for kind of the early summer thing.
And that's good. I like that they do that. But honestly, I feel like they haven't done that because they just haven't had much to show either, right? But now that they kind of do, maybe they should probably do those shorter ones more often because they used to, but they don't anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I feel like the last time they did was like Hi-Fi Rush. Remember that show where they showed like that off and a couple other things? Steve, when Sarah Bond was going on about like, here's our new game with our partnership with Bandai Namco and blah, 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 I did not expect the Blood of Dawn Walker, the weird vampire game that looked, I didn't think that was it.
Between this and Shadow Labyrinth, there is something in the water over there.
I don't know what's happening. Maybe the FromSoft partnership is just poisoning the well over there.
You guys, Super Meat Boy 3D. Am I the only one that's kind of fired? Did you guys play Super Meat Boy when it came out, like back in the day?
I played on Xbox Live Arcade.
Okay. Did you finish it?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I didn't either, and I really put some time into that. I was very into that when it first came out, but that game gets fucking hard.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if I'm gonna have the patience to finish Super Meat Boy 3D either. But I don't know. I think this is exactly what I want to see go up on Game Pass, right? And if I do spend fucking 3 or 5 hours and throw in the towel, that's okay. But I think that this, I don't know, like this looked pretty polished for what we've seen. I thought so.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
The gameplay they showed looks like they translated Super Meat Boy quite faithfully to 3D without making it bland as well. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is sweet.
It looked cool. Definitely not something I'm going to get right away, but I'm definitely not interested. I hate how much I'm interested in Ninja Gaiden 4 though, because I don't even like 3D Ninja Gaiden games in the first place, and we have no idea who is still working at Platinum Games, Steve. It's been said that a lot of the Astral Chain team is still there, but who knows?
I think it's one of those cases where it's like, seal the exits. No one leaves until you complete Ninja Gaiden.
And then you can leave and go join Kamiya. But God damn it looks good. It actually looks good. I can't deny that it doesn't. So I guess I'm in, but at what cost besides my sanity?
I know, it looks good. It really does.
Then they showed a Game Freak game, Steve. With real graphics. It's called Beast of Reincarnation. Game Freak can do real graphics? Wow. Very generic logo, though. I hope they update that shit. I hope that was like very early.
They might be able to do real graphics, but if I can do my best Andre for a second here, they need to do something about that frame rate, though. Oh, man. People aren't going to deal with that in an action RPG on PC and real consoles in 2026. Damn. I think it was dipping into the teens somewhere. Damn.
God damn.
Wow.
I actually thought I thought that was Andre talking.
Shit. All right. You got me good, okay? You skewered me. I'm thoroughly skewered, okay? Jesus Christ. Yay. Look, even I don't judge footage from a game show that much. I mean, it's not done yet, so I mean, who knows what the frames are going to be, right? But it wasn't.
You saw that.
Oh, I saw it. I'm just not going to be like, I don't know, the game comes out in a year and a half. I'm not going to go crazy yet. That's all. They show Clockwork Revolution again, still out in due time. It said at the end of the trailer, which is cute. But this time, guys, remember the first time this was shown, I was pretty into it. Not so much into it anymore. And this is the first time they show gameplay, and I was just kind of much less excited for it. I wasn't really into the sense of humor that it had with like the talking doll and like the other critter. I forget what it was. And it was just like, it felt very forced and dated. Like, this is very unlike me to say, but I think I just wanted something with some more like straight ahead drama and like over the top theatrics and stuff with like a lot of flowery dialogue and stuff. I don't think I wanted like Borderlands except the Victorian era steampunk or something. I'm not saying the humor was that out of control, but it definitely felt very Xbox 360. I don't think we can deny that. Also, the gameplay was very, dare I say it, kind of BioShock Infinite-y with the way it looked. Do you agree, Steve? I don't know, man. I guess I'm still interested. I'm not completely throwing this out, but I'm much less interested now, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. The doll, the way they phrased it, they like put it in writing on the screen. It's like the pissed off doll, right? And then the guy's got a big mustache, and they're like, make the mustache larger. Like, I don't know. This is not going to be for me. I don't even remember seeing this before, to be honest. This was on Showcase last year. Is that where we've seen this before?
I think even 2 years ago.
2 or maybe even a year before.
Yeah,
2, 3
a while
even.
ago.
Okay, yeah, my memory don't go back that far.
Steve, Clockwork, almost like Clockwork Aquario. Clockwork Knight.
That was a good game.
Clockwork Knight. Do you want to play Clockwork Knight for Xbox Series X?
That's available? No, better. Well, look, I'm still kind of interested, but not as interested as we'll see what it's doing when we get closer to the. I think that's the big problem. It was out in due time the first time, and now it's still out in due time. Who knows what it's going to look like when we get closer to the actual date?
Yeah. Kevin, you gonna hella get on that?
It was just guess what, guys? The fucking Elder Scrolls Online was there, as it is every single goddamn year. And I just think it's funny because I don't like. I'm genuinely surprised this keeps getting content. I don't know who is playing this. Obviously, somebody is playing this, and somebody is putting money into it because they're supporting it. It's still coming out with DLC every year. But I literally, when we do the showcase, they show it, and I remember, oh, that's a thing, and I 100% forget about it. I don't hear a single word about ESO until the next showcase, just like clockwork. It's weird.
They showed this game called Ghosts at the Grand. There are no Ghosts at the Grand.
Yeah, I saw it under both titles when I was watching and rewatching the trailer, so It looked neat.
Yeah, I like that it was like a weird puzzle game, but also like renovation simulator. You were like moving furniture to like dress up this house, but then you were also shooting a gun that shoots books at this like Cthulhu monster too. Like it's firing books. Are you defeating the Cthulhu with knowledge or something? Like the Republican Party? Like what is going on?
I think it was more of a Luigi's Mansion situation where you have a vacuum and then you were shooting out the books you just sucked up.
I didn't see any ammo. I didn't really see much UI at all, I guess, but sure, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question about Fallout 76? I don't really have anything to say about this expansion they showed. Is there a point where it seems like if you just keep peddling your live service game and just keep putting money into it, you can essentially bully it into being alive? Because it feels like there's no way in hell we should still be talking about Fallout 76 in the year of our Lord 2025. That the state that game came out in was laughable. And yeah, I guess they fixed it up, but like, look at it. Look at those graphics. You guys saw that game, right? It looked ancient when it came out. Now it's just I don't know. Maybe people are playing it. Maybe the TV show or maybe other Fallout products since really rates its stature. I don't know. But that was kind of recent. There had been like 6 years there where no one cares about Fallout 76. But maybe I'm being myopic, Kevin. Do people actually care about this game when we just don't know them?
Personally, I think there's more of a draw here than there is with Elder Scrolls Online. And 100%, I think the Fallout TV show had a huge part to do about it. I remember reading articles where it's like, because I think it was almost dead at that point. Nobody was still coming back to it. And I don't know if they were even like talking about expansions really regularly at that point. And then the Fallout TV show came back and there was a shitload of people playing Fallout 4 and there was a shitload of people playing Fallout 76. So I think they rode that wave. I do think especially... And you're right. I bought this on day one, and it was super janky, and it was not a good experience.
I'm so sorry.
I do think, like even with Fallout 4, they had put a lot of, and that was pretty janky in this respect at launch too. But they had put a lot of work into the like base building and the like kind of crafting aspect of it. And I've talked about, I hate when they like shoehorn crafting into things where it doesn't belong just to like make it happen. But I think they like put a lot of like forethought into that. So I feel like I need to like defend Fallout 76 when I hear you shit talking it a little bit.
I mean, look, I get it. I think I've never played it. I remember I was excited for it because I like Fallout, but then as it got closer to release, I started seeing stuff. I'm like, maybe I'll wait and see a little bit, and then I wait and saw, and I was like, nope. So I never tried, even when they quote unquote fixed it. Steve, I was just like, nah.
Look, I know this expansion's called Gone Fishing. There's a fishing mini game, and it's a cozy little expansion, and it's bad puns and fishing, and Steve should be all about it, but no. I haven't played this whole time. I'm not going to start now.
You don't want to play Gone Fishing?
If they can't hook Steve with fishing, then it's obviously then Fallout 76 needs to be put in the grave.
Sir, we lost the fishing guy. All hope is lost.
They got their player base. They don't need me.
They need you to fish. Well, do you need to play the game called Anemo? Not Amiibo. Anemo with 2 Y's? Because... wow, it's funny that people are so worried about AI taking over video games, and it's like, why should we ever worry when it looks like this? We knew it was AI from the second it appeared on the screen. Like, how is this crap going to be the zeitgeist of anything? I feel like people aren't stupid enough to do this, are they?
More like the zeitgeist of anything.
That's all you had for me. That's all you had for me. I'm out here trying to podcast, and you have your third awful joke of the fucking... I mean,
they didn't try. Why should I?
I'm trying right now into this microphone, and you're throwing me a flopping fish into my lap. This is what you're doing.
I don't know. Microsoft's out there going, oh, a Nemo's a video game coming for your Xbox, and what are we supposed to do with that?
I guess make the joke that you did, huh? I guess Zitgeist is it.
Fucking Nemo, who cares? We're gonna talk about Tony Hawk for one more second because I do want to touch on that trailer. Did you guys see the like pinball machine map where there is a giant Tony Hawk and you get to skate around the pinball machine?
I did not see this. No.
Oh man. Yeah, that was a thing. You're like in the pinball machine and you look up and Tony Hawk is like 400 feet tall, like getting ready to play pinball. It was a pretty like short snap there, but between that and then there was like in the Nintendo trailer, they like jumped off the pier into like SpongeBob world. I'm very ready for this to get like fucking wacky and weird and add a bunch of off the wall shit and go skateboarding in it.
You are ready for this game. When does it come out? You said next month, right?
Yeah, I think July 11th, I believe.
Oh, wow. We're not far at all.
Yeah.
Damn.
No.
What's next?
Yeah, they should have something called At Fate's End. It's for more creator credentials. At the beginning, they showed from the creators of Spiritfarer. I'm like, okay, fine. You sold me the game. You're done. Even though Spiritfarer was a heart-wrenching farm on a boat game, and this is going to just be a typical search action game, it looks like. Fine. I'll buy this in 2026. Fine.
So they revealed the release date of Gears of War Reloaded, and it's coming out August 26th. I don't know, man. I don't see how this is substantially different from the Gears of War like remaster they put out, like for Xbox One?
Yeah, not that fucking long ago.
Yes. So, but I know that this version is superseding that one from what I understand. If you have that one, then you will like get this one.
I don't know. The more, and that was kind of my first thought is like, okay, they just did this last gen, I don't really get the point, but whatever. And the more I've sat on this, I'm like kind of pissed off about this because I like strongly feel that Gears of War 2 was like by far the best entry in that series. And we did just get that remastered last gen. Why didn't they just fucking do 2 on Series X? And you could still play the last gen one on Series X and it fucking is fine. Like that was a very competent remaster, but why not do 2?
We need a collection. That's what we need.
Guys,
do the original trilogy.
You're missing the point. The point is that you can buy this one on your PlayStation 5.
Oh, then just sell the old one on PlayStation 5. Just sell that version. I'm not sure why they had to do this
on PlayStation 5.
I don't think they're... I don't know, man. I think the collection was a move. And again, I'm not trying to like dunk on something for something that it's not. It's just literally Gears of War Remastered. I'm not saying, oh, where's 2? Well, that's never was in the cards. What I am saying is that this is not a very exciting release because all those Gears of War's games are old. It just feels weird to sell just the first one when you already just sold the first one again last gen. So it's just weird to do it again. If that other version didn't exist, I'd be like, okay, I'd be a lot more receptive to this. Because it's like, okay, we're remaking Gears of War. Other ones can come soon, but it's like, this is their second attempt at that. So it's just, it doesn't hit right. Steve, they showed Persona 4 Revival, which like... Okay, it looks great, but after the gameplay changes they made to Persona 3 Reloaded in the name of quality of life, I'm not really much excited to see how they fuck with this one. So I got Persona 4 Golden on Steam recently, and I think I'll just stick with that for the time being, even though this is pretty.
I've got Golden lying around too, and here's the thing about doing a revival, though. Now they can sell DLC for Joker.
I hate everything. I hate video games now. Can we just end the show now? I don't like video games anymore. Actually, let's not end the show. We are going to talk about Invincible Versus. Steve, what the hell was this? Okay, first of all, I thought it was lame that they did a cute thing with the world premiere. They had one of the characters come on and go, world fucking premiere. But they bleeped out fucking. You can't do that. You have to let them say world fucking premiere if you're going to have the joke. Come on, Xbox. Jeez. I bet Nintendo wouldn't bleep out fucking.
Nintendo would bleep out fucking.
Would they? Okay, fine.
Or they just wouldn't have it in the first place.
Yeah. Anyway, an over-the-top, blood-soaked superhero tag fighter 3-on-3 seems like some silly fun. I don't know if it's anything I would buy, but it definitely seems silly and stupid.
Here's the thing, Andre. I know you're a recent Amazon Prime haver, so I'm going to tell you that Invincible is required watching. Go
Okay.
watch Invincible.
I will.
And here's the other thing. What they got going on the show, which includes violent as hell fights and real cussing, is really over the top compared to what they had in this game. I just not feeling this here at all. Not even for included on Game Pass, which is probably where it's going to end up. Like not even for a few minutes. I'm just not feeling it at all.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't think the like the gameplay looked like outwardly bad. But was I alone in thinking like I probably wouldn't want to be showing off this superhero tag fighter right after, a few days after that Marvel fighting game trailer had just dropped? Would you not be a little bit envious, but like, fuck, I wish I was on that team?
Maybe, but also I feel like this Invincible fighter is going after a specific audience. I think that Marvel thing is obviously like mass marketed. This is going after people who like fighting games more. So I don't think it really competes with that personally.
Yeah,
it's kind of like how they did that like Power Rangers fighting game recently, that three what is it, Battle for the Grid or something like that. That's geared more towards like fighting game people, not like people who love Power Rangers, because that would be like the beat 'em up, right? Rita's, is that out? Rita's Revenge, or is that a thing yet?
I think that came out last fall.
Okay. I haven't played it. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it looks fine. I don't think it looks terrible. I was shocked to see Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade and shadow dropping Final Fantasy 16. I did not expect to see that shit, guys. I don't know about you, but
well, firstly, way to fucking screw me over, Square Enix. You know, I had a bet on this show for, I think it was 50 fine time dollars. All you needed to do was announce this a few months sooner. You didn't even need to put it out right away. You just needed to say it was coming. But that aside, I don't know. This felt kind of inevitable, didn't it? I mean, Switch got to announce Final Fantasy VII Remake. Then they said everything's coming to everything here out if we can manage it. So this feels like a matter of course.
They can say that, but again, the whole Final Fantasy VII Remake project was bankrolled by Sony. If Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 only starts out on PS5 first, I would not be surprised to see that, Kevin.
Oh, no, I bet you that will still be the case.
Yeah. What's next? Oh, they showed that Double Fine game, Keeper. That looked kind of weird. Is that the first time we've seen a Double Fine game with a budget? I mean, not to be totally rude, but I mean, that shit looked expensive.
Because you're a fucking literal lighthouse, and Spencer wasn't kidding a year or so ago when he says they just let the studios make anything that sounds relatively plausible, huh?
Yeah, why not? They're not gonna. They bought Double Fine for a reason, so may as well let them do the thing, Kevin.
Yeah, that was one of the fucking weirdest video game trailers I've ever seen. I just didn't know what to make of it. It was weird.
Yeah, and then they ended with Black Ops 7, which we don't care about.
Womp
Anyway,
womp.
yeah, that was a Microsoft. That was all the shows we got.
We got to talk about Phil Spencer for a quick minute before we move on from Xbox, though. Because he was looking a little bit skinnier. I think he's lost some weight, but he looks like he's been through the ringer. So I just wanted to point that out. Like, I think old Phil's a little bit stressed. However, he made a quote that I really like. When I heard it, I typed it out in here verbatim because I'm curious how they spin this, but I'm very surprised if this is actually true. He said, "We are seeing more players on our platform and in our games than ever." And I get everything is an Xbox, right? They're putting shit out on PlayStation. They're spreading their wings. I still struggle to see this being factually true, or like figuring out like how you spin that to being true. I have a hard time seeing, more than in like the heyday of 360, them having more players on their platform and in their games than, even with the like spreading out on different platforms. Is this like a Windows thing?
Maybe it's got to be counting Windows, because I don't see how that can be true otherwise. He has to be counting that, because that's always counted as, the Xbox app, and you're not playing games on Windows, you're playing Xbox on Windows. So he has to be, Steve.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he counting? Because technically, I've had an Xbox account ever since Ori on Switch made me sign up for an account. Or it strongly suggested I sign up for an account so I can get something in there.
Achievements or something?
There was achievements and some in-game perk I could get. And I've been sitting on a dormant account for however long until I got Game Pass. Now, that did make signing up for Game Pass and whatever on the computer easier, but I would say I've been a fairly active Game Pass-ish person since March, but that would also mean I'm one more subscriber to the Xbox ecosystem that didn't exist this time last year, right? So I guess that counts by that metric.
That's interesting. And I like it now because I'm thinking about Minecraft, and I think Minecraft is like a fucking huge part of that. Minecraft is my kids play Minecraft Education Edition in schools, right? However, I would think that maybe 6 years ago, there was still many more people playing Minecraft at that time. I'm not saying people are not playing it anymore. They definitely still are. But I don't feel like the game itself has as much oomph as it did a few years ago. But that being said, maybe what Steve said, maybe because those people signed up for, an Xbox account to play Minecraft on their Switch 5 years ago, maybe that is what they're counting. They're saying like on our platform and in our games that they are counted as a user, even if they've moved on. Could that be a thing?
Maybe. I mean, but I don't even know if they're counting. Like, okay, when did I get an Xbox 360? Like early 2007. So that's probably when I made an account. And I didn't play it after I stopped using Xbox 360. When I went PS4, I didn't use the accounts from like 2013 until basically now, when I started using Game Pass to play like Avowed or whatever, when I got this new computer. So I hadn't used that account in like 10 years. So did they count me? I mean, now they're counting me, but I have no idea what the tabulations are. It is interesting, though. I don't think he's full of shit, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I was going to say, maybe that is the thing. Maybe he was just, like, he's stressed out and losing weight, and he's just like, fuck it, I'm going to go up there, and I'm going to be like, everybody's playing on Xbox. We're fucking hitting, like, knocking out of the park. Everybody loves us, making shitloads of money. Fucking good to go.
Yep, we're killing it right now. We're killing it. It just still steers right into the camera. We're killing it.
I mean, odds are sometime this summer I might finally boot up Pentiment for my Switch. We'll see.
I mean, oh yeah, you have been sitting on that for a while. Maybe it runs at 120 frames a second on Switch too. Huh? Maybe that. Something. Anyway, you guys got any parting thoughts before we get out of here? It was better than Summer Game Fest. Oh yeah, no, Microsoft was good. State of Play was an all-timers. Summer Game Fest was not great at all. But hey, can't be winners all every year. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Hope you enjoyed our little chitty chat about this. We do love to talk about these presentations. So again, with Switch 2 come around the corner here in a couple days that we're going to talk about, we didn't want to skip this. So thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us. Check the description of this podcast to find our names on social media, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
You've been listening